Hey folks, this is Coloring Chemist. My name is Connie, and welcome back to my channel. I am going to attempt to color and do the Faves 2024 coloring tag question answering at the same time. I don't know how it's gonna go. I'm working on a page in Melpomene Chetspandagiotu's Enchanted Earth, and this is the UK version, so it's a UK paper. And I thought I would show you how I do gold, or I don't know, it's my version of like an antique gold, like this, using Pitt pens. Now, it's not going to be, it's a pretty quick, I don't know, I mean, it's not super realistic, and there's certainly much better methods of coloring gold. There are some wonderful tutorials out there on YouTube, but this is how I do it. So, what you will need is some Pitt pens, and you're going to need Ivory 103, Raw Umber 180, Dark Sepia 175, Light Yellow Glaze 104, and possibly the White 101 Pitt pen, but maybe not. So, yeah. What I like to do is, and I'm doing these, I mean, they're probably supposed to be flowers, but I'm doing them sort of like this antique-y gold color. So what I like to do, and I'll do one first before I start answering the questions, and then I'll just sort of, you know, color while I'm answering the questions. I like to actually have all the caps off. So to start off, I'm going to need the Ivory, the Raw Umber, and the Dark Sepia. So I take all the caps off. You can post them onto the ends of the pens, but I don't know, I just throw them on my desk. I cover the whole thing in a layer of the Ivory. So just basing, basically. Doesn't have to be fancy. Because I want this to be rounded, right? I want the sides to be darker, and then the center of the bell, or the center of whatever object, or wherever you want the highlight to be, is going to be the lightest. So I covered the whole thing in the Ivory. I then take 175 Dark Sepia, and just along the very edge, just sort of put a line. Now, I'm just going to do one side. Well, no, I'm going to do both sides. Melpomene's paper, the Pitt pens tend to stay on the surface a bit longer, so you have a bit more time to work. Then I take the Raw Umber 180, and I sort of go back over where I put the sepia and just kind of pull it out a bit. Can you see that with the Raw Umber? Both sides. And then I'm going to go back to the Ivory and sort of pull the Raw Umber and a bit of that sepia towards the center with just these kind of flicking strokes. But you can see how I left the center, I didn't pull it all the way there. So once I think that's sort of pulled enough, I will take this, and I have a piece of paper off to the side. Just scribble it off a bit, because it'll have a fair amount of those dark colors on there. Then come back and kind of go over the center. And the reason I scribbled it off before I did the center part there was because otherwise I basically would have pulled all of the brown into the center. Yeah, and that's how I do that. Now, I'm going to let that dry, and then you'll see what I do with the light yellow glaze. So I'm going to now sort of do the base of this. That's a little bit tougher. I'm trying to look what I did over here. So we're going to have some dark kind of in behind, kind of where that base almost starts to tuck in behind. And the bell is going to have like a dip right along there, right? So maybe I'll put just a tiny smidge of the... You got to be careful with the dark sepia. You don't want too much of it. And then I'm going to kind of go almost back over where I put that dark sepia with the raw umber. And I think that's... And then I'm just going to take the ivory, again, kind of blend that, kind of pull it out a little bit more. I'm leaving the edges, the very edge of the bottom of the bell there, though I didn't pull it out all the way. Scribble off the ivory, get the excess brown off there, and then I'll come back and just kind of smooth everything out there. Does that make sense? The little... I mean, it's supposed to be the clanger under the bell, I guess. I'm going to put a little tiny bit of the dark sepia just right up under, right up close to where the little clanger meets the bell. A little bit of the raw umber over that. I'm going to pull it out just a little bit with the ivory. Leave the very edge. Scribble off the ivory. Make sure you don't have brown there. And then come back, just kind of almost, instead of pulling this way, I'm almost pushing the color back in, just so I didn't pull all of the brown right out to the edge of that little clanger. Once this is dry, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfectly dry, you can leave it like this. If you like more of a, and I have done that in the past, just leave it like this so that the lightest area is, it's like a combination of ivory and the dark, or the raw umber, so it's almost like a light tannish brown. It's a very vintagey, dull looking gold, right? If you think that's too dark, what you can do, and that's what the brilliance of the white is, you can just take the white and just put a little bit in the center, and I'm not actually doing this, and then tap it off with your finger, and that will lighten up the center if you made it too dark. I think that's okay. For this particular picture, I'm wanting my gold to look a little brighter, so I'm going to take now this light yellow glaze 104, and I'm just going to basically, yeah, it should be dry enough. It's better if you wait till it completely dries. Go over the whole thing. Now, it's not really going to show up in those dark areas, but what it does is, where I left the lighter bits in the center, can you see how that just, and then just scribble it off. Anytime you use Pitt pens to layer like that, you want to just scribble them off. My camera's being really weird, isn't it? It's like there's a delay when I move my hand. Maybe I'm moving too fast. Yeah, you just want to scribble them off, because otherwise when you go to use them again, they're going to have that dark color left on them. So there is that bell. And it'll change color a bit once it dries. It'll be a little bit lighter. Right now it looks a little bit darker on the edges and stuff than this one does. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing with these bells down here. Number 1. What is your 2 favorite Prismacolor colors? What are my favorite Prismacolor colors? I actually don't use Prismacolors very much. Isn't that... Oh my goodness. You're going to find with a lot of these questions that my answers are probably going to be less than satisfying. You know what? I don't know them offhand. I'm trying to answer these questions without sort of thinking about them too much. You know, just kind of one of those, what's your first answer, kind of gut instinct. The one color that I do remember from Prisma liking is, I think it's called Lime Peel. I don't know what the number is, sorry. But I do like the lime peel color. And I think there was another color that I was using to blend with it when I was using Prismas, but I can't honestly remember. I do like their French grays, though. Those are some nice colors. So, I don't know, that's less than satisfying, but... What is my favorite naughty snack? The one that's unhealthy but tastes so good. Um, probably chocolate. I tend to really like dark chocolate. I don't know. Viewing food as unhealthy, I really like the Michael Pollan approach. He wrote the book, oh, what's it called? Animal vegetable. No, 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 nope, nope, nope. Oh, it'll come to me. Basically, it was his tagline for the book was eat food, not too much, mostly plants. And really, try not to worry too much about the rest of it. Eat food, not too much, mostly plants. So, the occasional dark chocolate, should I eat it all the time? No. Should I eat it, for an entire meal? No. But I don't know. Unhealthy, healthy. You have to have some pleasures. Favorite pastime outside of coloring. I do like to read. I like to read lots of different things, actually. I do like to garden, but particularly right now here in central Canada, it is gardening season, and it's also bug season. We have, well, I call this time of year Bugmageddon. It's very apocalyptic bug-wise. You can see where this leaf kind of is in front of the bell, so I'm just going to put a little bit of this raw umber down either side of the leaf just to create like a shadow. So yeah, it's kind of Bugmageddon right here. So I mean, I like the gardening. I really hate bugs. So it's a hard toss up. You want to be outside, but the bugs are really awful. Oh, what's my favorite Disney character? I don't really watch Disney. I know, sorry. I do remember from when my daughter was little, and also, you know what, from when I was little, I really liked Winnie the Pooh. I just thought it was very sweet, kind of cartoon. So I guess if I had to choose, it would be Winnie the Pooh. Favorite season of the year and something you do only during that season. I love fall, autumn, fall time, mostly because the bugs go back to, what's the meme I've seen? The bugs go back to HELL, where they belong. So I do like the fall time. I really do love winter. I love the snow. Something I do only during that season. Fall, I mean, I do a lot of walking in fall. But I do that other times of year as well. Probably in the wintertime it would be cross-country skiing. I do like doing that. Favorite drink? I don't drink alcohol. Not because I have anything against it, but I used to drink wine, I guess, when I was younger, but not so much anymore. I do like iced tea, unsweetened, and I like hot tea. That's about it. I don't tend to do any fancy drinks or anything like that, just because I do have some family history of like diabetes and stuff, so I prefer to not have the liquid sugar. I know, these are very boring answers, aren't they? Let's see. Favorite quote that inspires you or moves you in some way? I don't know. I don't know. There was one, and I think it was attributed to Gandhi, but I'm not sure if that's actually true. Something about be the change you want to see in the world, basically. So instead of, just sort of talking about the change you want to see, sort of be the change. I do like that one. I live and let live. I like that one a lot. Other than that, I can't think of any. Favorite coloring style? Detailed, simple, color by number, cute, horror. I mean, I really like what I'm coloring right now. I do like a lot of sort of natural kind of landscape, florals, that kind of thing. I do still go back to color by number sometimes, just particularly when my brain is just toasted from, work, that sort of thing. The color by number, there's something very comforting about not having to think about where to put the colors, where to put the shading, that sort of thing. I do like Joanna Basford, that kind of style. Melpomene Chatspanagiotto. That bell got a little dark. Oops. Yeah. So, sort of realistic. I mean, this is not completely cartoony, but it's not hyper realistic either. So, favorite book genre. Now, I'm assuming that's like reading books, because we just talked about coloring books. Reading books. I do like historical fiction. I do like nonfiction. I like literary fiction. Just trying to think what else. In terms of nonfiction, I do like science nonfiction books. So books like The Disappearing Spoon, Napoleon's Buttons, right? Chemistry, those are very fun. Radium Girls was a great read. I like books that combine science and history. I think that's a fascinating combination. So yeah. Right now I've been reading a lot of Elizabeth Chadwick, who, I mean, it's historical fiction. It's probably also romance. I tend not to read it for the romance. I'm reading it more for the medieval history part, but yeah. Favorite movie I can watch over and over again. I do like the Jane Austen adaptations. So, just checking to make sure I'm on screen here. Now, sorry, interruption here. For a small bell like this, I'm really being light-handed with these darker colors because I'm not going to need a lot, and they're going to, it's pretty easy to pull them and fill up that space. So, yeah, the smaller your space, you want to just be really, you don't need a lot of the darker colors in there. Movie that I would watch over and over again. Yeah, Jane Austen adaptations. No, it's blasphemy, but I really do like the Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley in it. I think that's, and Matthew McFadden. I think that is a good one. I like the version of Emma with Romola Garai. That's a good one. I like some of the Mansfield Park adaptations. I don't know which one is my favorite. Probably the one with Johnny Lee Miller. He's in the Emma adaptation with Romola Garai too. I really do like Johnny Lee Miller. Yeah. Yeah, I think those are probably my favorite movies. Some of them aren't movies. Some of them are like Sense and Sensibility. The newer one with... I'm trying to think of their names. Charity Wakefield, I think, is in there. So not the Sense and Sensibility with Emma Thompson. Just, it's older and it's kind of campy and I don't know. It's just, I just like the newer one better. So some of them aren't movies so much as they are, they were like BBC series. So I don't know if that counts or not. Favorite pizza toppings? Probably, they call it a Canadian. It's pepperoni, mushroom, and bacon. That would probably be my favorite. I don't know what you would call it in other places. I don't know if you have that combination in other places, but yeah, pepperoni, mushrooms, and bacon. Here they call it a Canadian, if you want a Canadian topping. Pizza, that's what you get. Favorite song that moves you? Okay, again, my answers are probably very weird and probably not what was intended. I don't tend to listen to that much pop music. I mean, I do sometimes. I'm a kid of the 80s, right? I do like a lot of the 80s pop music still. But I really like classical. Moves me emotionally, Chopin. I love listening to Chopin. I love playing Chopin on the piano. Makes my brain happy. I don't know if I talked about this before. I am on the spectrum. So basically that means that I have some level of autism spectrum disorder. And so for my brain to be happy, it needs to be stimulated. I really, really, really like Bach for that. And so I have a playlist of Bach, and it starts off with the Goldberg variations, and then it goes into his English suite, his French suites. There's some orchestral stuff in there, lots of his piano stuff, some of his Lutheran masses, but they just transport me. I really love them. They make my brain happy. All of the complexity and the layers of the music just makes my brain happy. I know. Is anybody even still listening to this? I don't know. I don't know if anybody is. Maybe I'm just talking to myself, but that's okay. Favorite scent? I tend to be sensitive to a lot of scents. I do like sort of those fall kind of spicy scents. Like cinnamon and cloves, probably that would be my favorite scent. But I can't handle like any, floral scented candles or anything like that. It tends to trigger headaches and allergies in me. But I do like just sort of the smell of cinnamon and cloves. So even putting some cinnamon sticks and whole cloves in a bit of water on the stove and then boiling it, smells good, I think. Favorite character in a movie or TV series? Why? I don't know. Characters I identify with. Maybe that's a better way to think of it. I did really like how the producers and the actors dealt with Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory, right? That sitcom. I felt that, I don't know if the actor himself, Jim Parsons, is on the spectrum, but if he isn't, he did a lot of research and a lot of work, because he gets a lot of things right. Some things maybe, and maybe not everybody on the spectrum can feels the same way. But I felt like he got a lot of things right. I did all the bells. Oh my goodness. Now I'm going to have to think of something else to do while I finish this list. So I think that's a character. I don't know if it's my favorite character, but it's one that I think was well done. So we can put it that way. Let's see. Favorite way to pamper myself? I don't know. I don't tend to do that. It's just sort of, I don't know, coloring, I guess. I don't know if that's pampering myself or not. Just we can go back and do the glaze on these ones. Yeah, I don't tend to do, bubble baths or things like that. I just, shopping for art supplies, maybe. That would definitely be one. Just because on this one in particular, this picture. I just wanted to brighten up the gold a bit. Favorite room in the house? I don't know. I don't really have one. Because I work from home, I tend to have the whole house to myself, most of the day. Mr. Coloring Chemist is off at work, so yeah, the house tends to be just sort of mine all day. So I don't know. I guess it's the whole house. I like my house. It's not very big. It's just kind of nice and cozy. I'm out in the country. I have my birds out the window here. Yeah. Favorite fictional world? I don't really have one. I don't tend to read books that aren't set in the real world. I don't know if that's maybe part of the autism thing. I don't know. Like science fiction and stuff. I don't tend to... I don't know. No, because I know lots of people that are also on the spectrum and they really like sci-fi. But for some reason, for me, it doesn't. Yeah. So I guess I have to skip that question. Favorite takeout or delivery? Because I live out in the country on a farm, nobody will deliver out here. So, because they can't. I mean, when I say I'm out in the country, I am out in the country. Most delivery places can't find my house, so nobody delivers out here. Takeout, again, I'm in a small town. Well, I'm near to a small town. We don't have a lot of options here. And so, yeah, we don't. There's a local place that does a really good chicken Caesar wrap. And they do these special kind of, like, potato wedges, that have seasoning on them. Those are pretty good. That's about it. That's all I can think of. Oh my goodness. Favorite flower? I don't know. I don't know if I have one. My good. Now I'm having to think what else I'm going to do on this picture and think about these questions. You know what I'm going to do? This will be easy. I can do this while I'm answering questions. The keyboard that's down at the bottom here, I want to make the keys look kind of old. So I'm wondering if I should base them either in warm gray or ivory. I mean, ivory would make more sense because piano keys are ivory, right? I'm just wondering if that's too yellow. Well, you know what? Let's do it. What's the worst that could happen? What is the worst that could happen? So this is good. I can just base everything and color while I'm basing. Or talk while I'm basing. Well, yeah, it's flower. I don't know. I like a lot of the garden flowers. I don't know if I have a favorite. I like sweet peas. I like the smell of them. Favorite place to wander can be indoors or outdoors. I like wandering the trails on my property. We have a quarter section, 160 acres, and we've got trails that we've mowed that wander throughout the whole property. So I like wandering on those. Favorite relationship advice? Marry your best friend and communicate. Don't play games. Don't expect the other person to read your mind. Don't do the whole passive aggressive thing. Don't the silent treatment, all of those things, it just doesn't work. It just causes bad feelings. Be honest. be honest and communicate. And I think if you're married to your best friend, I think that's easier. You know, men and women don't necessarily communicate in the same ways, but if you're open and honest and communicate, I think that's best for whether it be friendships or romantic relationships. I think that would probably be the advice that I would give. Favorite thing that I share with my significant other, activity, hobby, food. I don't know if we have a favorite. We just like spending time together. Both of us are introverts, and so the time we spend together sometimes is often just silent time. He's doing something, I'm doing something, but it's not even necessarily the same thing, but we're sort of together. I don't know if that makes sense. We've also been married, we're coming up on 28 years. So that's a long time. Yeah, because I guess we're both so introverted, we don't need to be doing something together. Although he has said that he will color with me. So I don't know, maybe Mr. Coloring Chemist will make an appearance on the channel sometime in the future. Hard to say. 23. Favorite thing to do to annoy my significant other. See, I don't do that. I don't know. I don't think... We just don't... That wouldn't be something either one of us would do. We might tease one another, but I would never do something to annoy him on purpose. I don't think he would ever do that to me either. I don't know. Just not the kind of relationship we have. Favorite indulgence? Probably buying coloring supplies and or eating the dark chocolate. Those, which I think I talked about earlier, but yeah, I would say those are probably my favorite if I had to pick indulgences. I don't know, those are pretty yellow keys. I mean, I would do shading on them too, but I have to think about this now. What if I bring in the warm gray? And 25, favorite thing to do on my channel. I don't know. I've been struggling lately trying to figure out what the point to my channel is. Does that sound weird? I don't know. Maybe, you know what? Instead of bringing in the warm gray 1, if I had warm gray 2, 3, what would that do? Let's try it off to the side. Basically, I want to just do a little shading on the edges of the keys. And I thought maybe the warm gray might tone the yellow down a bit. Oh, but I don't want to blend it out with the... What if I blend it out with the warm gray 1? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. So I'm going to put the ivory away, except I've lost the cap now. Nope, 103, that's here. And now that I have an ivory base, I'm actually going to do warm gray 3 around the edges and then blend it out with warm gray 1 over top the ivory, because it takes some of the yellow of the ivory away, and I think it still makes the keys look old. So hopefully that's going to work. And that last question, favorite thing to do on my channel. Yeah, like I say, I've been struggling lately trying to figure out what the point to my channel is. You know, is it... Because I'm just not sure I have much to teach. You know, people have asked for tutorials and things like that, but I don't know. I just don't know if I know enough about coloring. A lot of the things that I do are trial and error. And so it's hard for me to do a tutorial because when I start, I'm not ever entirely sure it's going to work. I'm just doing it, and whatever happens, happens. Sometimes I have to go back and try and rescue it or fix it. Yeah, so I don't know. favorite thing to do. I do like talking about, the science behind the pigments and all that kind of stuff. I've done, a fair number of those videos. There's playlists on my channel. I was doing some sort of history of pigments, although I did only do the ancient, not even the ancient, prehistoric. And I still need to do, forward and do ancients and medieval. I think I would enjoy those. But yeah, just not sure. Like I say, trying to figure out what is the point to my channel. I guess I'll have to, me and overthinking. I will have to think about that some more. So I hope those answers weren't too disappointing. I'm sorry if they were. I don't know. Sometimes being on the spectrum makes me feel vulnerable in some ways because I feel like I've always felt different. I've always felt like I was not like other people. And because of that, I just was never sure if other people would understand me. So, I don't know. I didn't share a whole lot. So sharing and answering these questions, again, feels vulnerable because I'm just not sure. Like, are people going to understand? Or are they just going to think it's weird and give me a thumbs down and, leave nasty comments? And I don't know. But I've recorded this now, so I will be uploading it shortly, and hopefully that doesn't happen. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. I guess you got a little bit of a Pitt Pen tutorial out of it as well. If you like what you see, consider liking the video, subscribing to my channel, leaving a comment, notification bell, all that stuff. You know the drill. Letting a friend know that you found a channel you like, they might like it too. I hope everyone is safe. I hope everyone is well, and I hope everyone is enjoying their coloring. Thank you so much to Jazzy Doodle Designs for starting this tag, and for Jody, J, Colorist, for tagging me. And I don't think I will tag anyone, just because I know so many people have done it already, and I'm kind of late to the party because I was so busy during May. But if anyone has not done this tag and you have a channel, consider yourself tagged. I have tagged you. All right, folks. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.